The NFL draft is finally over. The Broncos got better. The Chargers got better. The Raiders got better. What does it mean for our AFC West bottom dweller teams? Are we finally ready to take down the Chiefs? Crack a cold one. Hang with the Third and Thirsty podcast, boys. We're about to break it down now. And I will say this to Bronco Country, that there is a lot of complaints on Reddit and Twitter. And I mean this with all sincerity. Shut the hell up.
The Raiders have a chance to beat them. I can see
What
the
about
Broncos sweeping them.
What about winning the division? Have you gotten yourself there yet?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, I was like, okay, don't put yourself there.
Welcome into the Third and Thirsty podcast, your one pod stop for Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Kansas City referee, and Taylor Swift free AFC West banter. I'm your host, Alex Bell. I'm representing the Denver Broncos. To my left, I have Omar Rubio. He's here with the Los Angeles Chargers. To my right, I have Edgar Larios. He's representing the Los Angeles or Oakland or Las Vegas or wherever the hell they decide to play next year. Raiders. We're breaking down the NFL draft today. How are we feeling today, boys?
Feeling great.
Awesome.
Ready to
Draft is
roll?
over.
Yeah, finally, no more mock drafts. We're ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll. So, coming back from last week, we had one moment that almost went down in podcasting history. Edgar almost called Shedeur Sanders' draft slip, almost to a T. Mistakenly said that he was going to go to the 6th round rather than the 6th pick. You were pretty dang close, man. He fell to the 5th.
It was honestly so shocking. I didn't think he was going to fall that far.
I mean, I felt like he was gonna fall, but just not that far. Maybe second round.
Yeah, second run at
maybe
least.
third. Third was gonna be pushing it for me, but I felt like he was gonna go second round.
Yeah, after day one, it was just kind of like, okay, well, he'll for sure go tomorrow. But once the second round ended, I was starting to think, holy shit, he might not get drafted. I mean, so many teams had already passed him on him multiple times, especially when he got to the third round and the Raiders passed on him like 150 times with all their draft picks.
Honestly, I thought at least that by the third round, we were probably going to go quarterback, but
And you
we ended up going
doing
to
it later.
quarterback in the 6th and the 7th round.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really surprised. But when you look into it, hindsight, especially now that all the information that's coming out about him bombing those interviews, it really makes sense. You know, if teams didn't feel like he had the skill set to make up for all that, and why bring him in, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the baggage with him and his dad, I felt like that's what pretty much brought him down.
Yeah, it was tough. I like Shedeur. I'm rooting for him. I hope, even though he's a Brown now, and I hate the Browns just because of one player there, Jerry Jeudy. Also, Deshaun Watson. I mean, that's an easy.
Yeah,
That's an
true.
easy
Yeah,
one.
That's true.
But I mean, when you look at it, I mean, he even after he gets drafted, he goes out and parties and holds out that Louis Vuitton bag with a bunch of money. And it's like, dude, this should have been your wake up call, man. Maybe grow up now.
Yeah, but at least he didn't let it get him down, you know. He could have been super sour about it and just like hated everybody after that. Just felt like that was his only way of just getting out of it, getting away from all the bad luck, how far he fell.
It's a much more charitable way of looking at it than I do. If I'm looking at my quarterback, I just drafted in the 5th round, and he's out partying like that the night that he
I'd
got.
be like, dude, focus on football.
Yeah,
Come on now.
I mean,
if you want people to see you different, you have to prove yourself. And
it's not off to a good start.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, got to give a lot of credit to Shedeur too. I mean, I'm plugged into the Colorado news a little bit more because relationship with Denver and Broncos and stuff. But so I hear about all the hard work he puts in. He's 100% sober. Got to respect that. But man, I also just kind of have to clean it up a little bit, man. I mean, a little bit of a wake up call, you know.
Yeah.
So
Definitely got humbled.
yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. It takes a lot to humble someone that has legendary all over his draft room wall when he doesn't get picked to the 5th round.
True.
You know, so not to hate too much on Shedeur. Shedeur, if you're listening, keep it up, man. I hope you do okay.
I mean, honestly, for me, I still think he's a good quarterback, but
Yeah.
he definitely brings a big distraction, especially for a backup. Yeah, no, there's no GM or head coach that are going to want to deal with that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like that was kind of an owner pick with the Browns, which also, I mean, it puts him in such a tough spot. We were talking a little bit about Tim Tebow before we started recording. And it's a lot like the situation when he went to wherever he went after the Broncos, the Jets, and he was competing for that starting job, and he ended up being a backup. Like that's the worst case scenario for your team is to have your backup quarterback be the most popular player on the team because fans want him to play. As soon as something bad goes down on the field with a quarterback, they're going to be calling for him to be starting, and that's going to be happening in Cleveland. I guarantee it.
Well, who knows if he even makes the team? He's what, fourth on the depth chart technically. They got Joe Flacco there again. They got they picked up Dylan Gabriel's too. So I mean, right now he's either at least 3, maybe 4 in the depth chart there.
Yeah, we'll see. I imagine he makes the team.
Yeah, same.
But there was a CFL team that already put their claim in on him. So that would be pretty wild. They would definitely get the highest ratings they've ever received if Shedeur ended up playing there. So we'll get into a little bit to the AFC West and Broncos Chargers and Raider talk here. We're going to go over the first round picks, start off the show here, and then we're going to get into the rest of the draft, kind of pick apart each teams and what we like, what we didn't like. And then we'll answer that question. Are we feeling like we're ready to take down the Chiefs, or are the Chiefs going to continue their horrible, horrific reign that seems like it's lasted 100 years now? So we'll go draft order. We'll start with Ashton Genty and the Raiders. See if we feel it was a good pick, the right pick. We'll start with you, Edgar. What do you think?
Honestly, last week I did say that I expected the Raiders to go Ashton Genty. I do think that the Raiders, before the end of the draft, I think they had to focus a lot on the O-line. And towards the middle of the draft, they did just that. They picked up some pretty good players that I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to help that O-line get better. But only time will tell. But I'm really happy about getting Ashton Genty. He brings he's a solid running back to a struggling position in our team,
to say the least.
Yeah, well, a lot of that goes into the offensive line too, which we'll get deeper into the draft here later today. But
yeah, I mean, last year Raiders O-line wasn't really ranked up. I mean, it wasn't ranked last for sure, but it was just ranked last in running back. So it really had a lot to do with the running backs that we had last year. Zamir White really didn't step up from the year before. Alexander Madison really didn't. He did the best he could, but I believe that a lot of the play calling, the play in the running back, and a little bit of the O-line being hurt in the beginning of the season kind of put us in that position. But I feel like with the better O-line, offensive coordinator now with Chip Kelly, a healthy O-line hopefully for the beginning of the season, and somebody who can actually, break tackles is gonna definitely make us a little bit better.
He definitely breaks tackles. Yeah, I had to go back because my memory is terrible and look at the offensive line for the Raiders last year, and they did have a lot of injuries and picked it up towards the end of the year. Also remember that DJ Glazes is like the dopest name. It sounds like a character on Parks and Rec.
You bring up the Chip Kelly thing though, as an offensive coordinator. He's more of like a spread open college type of system. 4 receivers or 3 receivers and a tight end and maybe a running back. So
well, I mean, he's more of a running first type of guy. He runs a lot of RPOs. He spreads the ball around, but what his scheme really needs is a good running back. If you go back with the Eagles, I think they had Darren Sproles and I forgot who else was their running back at that time.
But like I said, that's a receiving option as well. I don't think Genty did too much.
No, he did
receiving. I saw that he really didn't have too many receptions. He mainly did all of his work, with the ball in his hands on the ground, getting the handoffs, running between the tackles, which is what he is. He's honestly a great running back.
From what I saw, he honestly was able to catch the ball out of the back.
He just came back from across the pond, so he's got a little bit jet lag. So.
Yeah, but honestly, I do think that he's a little bit. I do think he's a good receiver. I mean, of course they had him running the ball like plenty of times, but
That's what he does. He was a great running back in college. So I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, you're 5'8", dude. I mean, it's hard to find you behind guys that are 6'4", 6'5"
yeah. I mean,
on the
and even
line, you
that
know. So,
small 7 yards of carry in his last year,
hmm
that's tough.
no, he's a beast, man. I've been dreading the days for the Raiders to draft him since he started getting mocked to him. And during the draft, I texted the group chat, just no, when the Raiders made their pick. I didn't know that I was about 3 minutes ahead of Edgar, who was watching on TV like a sucker instead of just paying attention on Twitter. Oh,
I mean, I wasn't even watching on TV. I was watching off my laptop,
well,
and it
there
was
you
like
go.
1 in the morning.
You're way behind. So I assumed that you were up there with me. When you thought that they were still going to take the tackle, or
Yeah, I thought they were taking Mod Bamboo.
yeah, I should have bet you like $20 million that they're going to take Genty and took your money. Finally, maybe would have made up for all the money I've lost you in the years of Raiders and Bronco bets that we've been making.
Yeah, when I was looking for stuff to talk about Genty, like to talk shit about, I really didn't find much, man.
There's
I mean,
not a lot, man.
his size maybe would be the
I mean,
only
yeah,
thing.
5'8".
You know, he's a tough runner, but you know these guys are just gonna get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
A lot of carries in college could be a little worrisome.
Yeah, a lot of tread on the tires.
We were really nitpicking to try to
Yeah,
find something wrong with Ashton
honestly.
Genty.
But I think that's the only thing that really stood out. Just his size. It might make it a little harder for him to translate into the NFL with guys, like I said, being a little stronger, a little bit bigger, a little faster. So
Yeah,
only time will tell.
Yeah, and you could always try to nitpick and say that maybe they should have went with Membu. Try to strengthen up that offensive line, but it's hard to pass up a talent like Genty. So
but
And then
yeah,
the fan base wasn't going to be happy if you went with a
Oh, no.
O-line
it's definitely not
instead.
as a sexy pick.
Not at
Taking a tackle over someone like Ashton Genty, especially.
Yeah, there's a lot of calls. People excited that we picked up Ashton Genty, and I mean, like I said, I wasn't mad about it. I was excited and everything, but that old line was like something I was gonna be worried about. But now looking at it, once the draft was done, I was like, okay, we did focus on some of the lines, so
Yeah.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more into their offensive line picks here a little bit later. Thinking about Genty going up against the Broncos now, it's like Josh Jacobs tore apart the Broncos for years. I'm not quite as worried just because of how good Broncos defense is going to be next year. They've really shoring up the middle of their defense with Singleton coming back, and then Greenlaw, hopefully, thank God, did not actually tear his quad. That scared the living hell out of me a couple of nights ago when they were reporting that. Thankfully, it was just a strain. He's okay. Unfortunately for Edgar, who
I thought I predicted something else.
who was
I was
predicted
like-
all kinds of terrible things to happen to Denver Bronco players, so they don't make the season. But
But I mean, that's what does come with Greenlaw. He is,
Mhm.
known to have injury problems. So
totally, that's why it was terrifying to see that he already got hurt. But he's gonna be okay. The middle of the defense is gonna be really beefed up next year. Pause. And so I'm not quite as worried, especially because we'll get into it again a little bit later. But I don't know if they really addressed the line as much as they should have. Playing armchair quarterback here on the Third and Thirsty podcast, but I'm just trying to convince myself that Broncos shouldn't be too worried. But how do you feel now that the Raiders have Genty and have a really solid running back?
I still feel like it's their step behind with the O line. I just
Yeah.
kind of feel like it's going to be maybe not as bad, but a Saquon with the Giants situation where they're going to waste a lot of his prime talent with a shitty O line.
I would have loved to agree with you. I don't know, man.
I would say that you're right, but honestly, like the Giants to this day still have a bad O line.
But they had a lot of like first round picks. They threw a
Yeah,
lot of resources at that line, and it just.
So we
didn't
still
plan
have
out.
Cohen Miller that's still considered top 15. We have
What's going
JPB.
on with him? Is he actually going to play this year? Or
So at first, a couple weeks ago, which I should have said last week, he was holding out. It's because he's on his last year of the contract and he has no more guaranteed money. And last year he played with no guaranteed money, so he kind of just risked it.
I'd like to get paid too.
Yeah. So this year it's his last year of the contract, no guaranteed money. So he was holding out, wanting to get paid. But yesterday on Monday they ended up showing a picture of him already back at practice.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, and it's non-voluntary, so it was like it wasn't a big deal like if he didn't show up because it was just voluntary. So him showing up is a good sign, saying that they're probably talking about his contract. Might give him a prove it deal or give him the whatever's left on his contract, give him guaranteed, and seeing if like this year if he fits the scheme or not. But personally, I do think they should resign him, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's hard to find a really good left tackle if you feel like you have a pretty good one in house, and
Damn.
yeah, it's hard to move on. Broncos are about to give Garrett Bowles another contract.
Chargers are about to give their left tackle like all the money in the world. Sean Slater, he's about to get like either top dollar at the left tackle or just below that. He's going to be either the top paid player, the second. I don't think he goes past their top paid left tackle in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like left tackle, quarterback, cornerback always reset the market when a top one signs, even if they're not the top.
He might end up being second to freaking the Chiefs tackle being paid, the highest paid.
Which one's that one?
Wasn't
they let go Tooney, right?
Yeah, they let go Tooney.
Or was it the guard that they
the guard? But that's what was it like 25 mil a year, I think. He's gonna get more than that. Tackles make more than that. Tackles is like mid is like starting at 20 mil. So he's gonna get over 30 million a year, I feel.
How much is Trent Williams making then?
About that much, like close to probably maybe close to 40, like 38, I want to say. So Rashawn Slater's about to get right around that same at least yearly figure.
Yep. So let's move on. We talked about Genty a little bit. Let's get into my boy, Shedeur Barron. Excuse me. Still trying to learn the name. Got a little French tang on it. Shedeur Barron. Really, really surprising pick from the Broncos. We went into the draft.
Very surprising.
Every single mock draft, all Bronco fans were just dreaming about a joker coming into the Sean Payton offense. And the way the board was falling, I was really excited. Ekbuga finally went off at 19, so that dream ended. But Hampton was there. Golden was there. There was quite a few players. Trayvon Henderson was the one that I was talking about. All those guys were there. I was expecting one of them to be the pick. And when Shedeur Barron came in, my first reaction was, what the hell are we doing? But after maybe about 15 seconds of that shock to wear off, really great pick. Really opens up the defense of what they want to do next year. If something were to, injuries happen in the NFL. We saw with the Broncos last year when Riley Moss went down, it screwed up the entire defense. Now, if something like that happens again, God forbid, knock on wood, you could move Shedeur Barron all over the field. We talk about a joker on offense. He's the joker on defense. So that's a big pick. He's super mature as well. When he got the call, I believe he was talking to Sean Payton. He asked coach to put him on speakerphone so he could talk to everybody in the draft room and thank him for all the hard work that they put in drafting him. Talked a lot. I listened to an interview he did with KOA with Dave Logan. Shout out Dave Logan if you're listening. Broncos legend. A lot of talk about how his mom is a single mom, raising him, taking him to all the practices, and different training events and different camps. Saying how he's already retiring her now. So stand-up dude, captain. Sean Payton's building a culture in Denver, and this is definitely a culture pick. Taking best available. So how scared are you guys of this pick?
Last weekend when I was talking about trading back, if we got the trade back in the first round, he was one of the picks that I really wanted the Raiders to pick up.
Yep.
He's a really fast corner, and like you said, he's a joker. He can play nickel, outside. He can play safety. Good pick. I was shocked, honestly. I was just like, why? Like, they're so stacked. But just makes another position stronger for you guys.
Yeah, again, that goes back to just when you're in the position the Broncos are in, you could really just kind of sit back and take best available. And when you have a guy that they had as a top 10 pick fall to you at 20, you don't hesitate. You just, you pull the trigger. They obviously have some bigger needs on the team going into that pick, but, especially when you're looking at AFC West when you have players like Brock Bowers, you have players like Lad McConkey, two totally different players on the spectrum, but this really helps in both ways because you could put them, move them around all around the defense, move guys around in different packages. You're really playing to your division and some guys that are really going to be tough to cover. And he really helps out.
It was just surprising to me because it wasn't really a position of need whatsoever.
Right.
Like that was like almost towards the bottom of their list of what they needed for this upcoming season for their team to be taking the next step forward. I mean, this definitely helps, don't get me wrong, because it adds to a strength.
Yeah.
But I feel like I guess you're right what you said. The board fell that way to them because I feel like the same thing with the Chargers. Chargers, I felt like we're gonna go a different way, but just the way the board fell, it was just I don't know. I feel like it wasn't in our favor as far as what we needed is for both teams, the Chargers and the Broncos. So once you guys went with that, I was like, damn, that's a good pick. It's a little random, but that's a good pick.
It was definitely surprising, but I mean, you look at teams that are picking last in the draft, like the Chiefs, the Eagles. They don't draft for need. They say, hey, you know what? At 31, 32, we're just gonna see whoever falls to us that we feel should have went earlier, and that's what the Broncos ended up doing here. Again, I mean, he'll most likely start in the slot. Jaquan McMillan has been really good there the last couple of years, but this is obviously a big upgrade. Jaquan McMillan, now you just have depth with a really solid slot corner at McMillan behind Barron.
And I mean, you can switch them out too, so they're not going to be as tired.
Yeah, I mean, say again, God forbid something happens, you move Barron out to the outside, you can slide McMillan right back in, and you don't have a huge hole in defense like you did when you played bitch ass Jerry Jeudy, and you took advantage of a fucking practice squad corner. That's not going to happen next year. So, huge pick. No fly zone is back. We need a new nickname for the Broncos defense this year. But defense wins championships, man. And this is a big step towards it. So,
yeah. I feel like he has good size, good length,
good speed.
Yeah, good speed.
He is fast.
So we'll see how he does against the top end talent. Which is that's everybody's test coming into their first year. We'll see how they do with top end talent.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, the nice thing with him being on the team that like the Broncos is there's so much talent all over the defense. He's going to get a lot of help.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff. Well, I actually was doing a lot of research this morning, this morning, and I saw that you guys were ranked third, and was it third in defense?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So third in defense.
It'll be one next year,
but you guys were 19th in the passing. So that just basically makes your guys' passing defense a whole lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you have Surtain on one side just locking down the number one on the team, now you have Barron and Bradley Moss being able to work on those other guys. And it's just, where are you going to go? Where are you going to throw the ball? Luckily for you guys have smarter people that are trying to make that call, running the offenses. But I don't know if they'll come up with an answer, man. This defense is going to be top-notch.
Yeah. That's going to be good defense. At least the secondary will be a lot better. We'll see how the trenches are. Like that's where they needed a little bit more help is in the trenches. I was surprised you guys passed up on Harmon there as the D tackle from Oregon. I felt like he was up there for best available at that point as well.
Yeah, middle of the defensive line had a little depth issues last year, but a lot of that is just right behind him with linebacker play. Alex Singleton was out all year. He's going to shore that up with Dre Greenlaw. Zach Allen was an all-pro. He's in the middle of that line. You have Malcolm Roach and JFM and DJ Jones. I mean, they're looking pretty damn good in the middle of that defense too, man. If you're trying to find a hole, maybe you want to go that way, but it's not going to be.
Well, that's what I said. I felt like that was a little bit bigger of a need. It would have shored up something.
I would go offense for a bigger need for them.
For sure.
That too.
We'll get into that.
Not getting Bo Nix,
just a weapon.
A weapon in the first round.
And they cover that later, and we'll have more to talk about the.
But passing up on Golden, his teammate, he was another good receiver that I thought.
True.
That was definitely one that I was hoping they'd be calling at that point. But again, I'm really happy with the pick. But yeah, I mean, going into the draft, just thinking offense. and then they make the pick with defense. It was jarring for
Was
sure.
there any like tight ends around that time?
No, nothing to take in the first round. Both
yeah.
Warren and Loveland were gone.
And then we could talk on that. Loveland went way earlier than anybody else thought.
He went before Warren. I could not
yeah.
believe it. He
I
went
was so
to the
surprised when
Bears.
that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty shocked to see Loveland go before Tyler Warren. And then Tyler Warren went to the Colts. I texted my buddy Sander, if you're listening, shout out Sander. He's a Colt fan, and I told him, like, I've been preparing for this moment since Warren's been mocked to you guys at 14 for the last couple of months to mentally prepare myself for the disappointment, but I'm still pissed. But it ended up working out, man. The Broncos got a really good player at corner there with Shedeur Barron. Shedeur. So a couple picks later, the Los Angeles Chargers, they go and grab Omarion Hampton.
Omarion to Omar's team.
Yep, that's right. Sure, that's what Harbaugh was thinking. He was like,
He's
man.
like, oh yeah, we got.
I was watching the Third and Thirsty podcast. There's this dude named Omar. He's a Charger fan. He's one of our 4 Charger fans. Maybe we should go with Omarion.
Heck yeah, thanks. Shout out to Harbaugh if you're listening. No, I feel like we got a really good running back. He was not the top running back. Obviously, Genty was the top running back coming out because he had just gaudy numbers in college. But Omarion Hampton wasn't too far behind, man. He's a bigger running back, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Like, he's a bigger running back. He's like 6'2". Oh no, he's 6 foot 221. That's a beast of a running back. If you got him and Najee Harris, you're not gonna get a break. Not gonna get a break with any of those guys. And that's what they're gonna do is run the ball. That's what they've said that they're always gonna do from day one. I was really surprised that they didn't go trenches, either guard or defensive tackle. Like I said, if Harmon would have been there, I feel like they still would have gone with Harmon at that pick. I'm glad they went with Hampton. I feel like getting an offensive weapon is going to help just the offense altogether because, I mean, Najee Harris is only on a 1-year deal. So this is perfect. Kind of ease him in throughout the season. And next year he'll be ready to just go full bore and number 1 running back. And I feel like out of the 3 running backs that got taken from our 3 teams early rounds, Omarion Hampton's skills are going to translate better into the NFL just because of his size. And he catches the ball out of the backfield very well. Pass protection very well. I've seen a couple of his highlights where he's just stonewalling linebackers, blitzing corners, edge rushers. He holds his own up against all those guys.
Yeah, definitely a really good back. A guy that, obviously looking for the Broncos to pick at 20. Like I said last week, Travion Henderson was my guy over Hampton just because of North Carolina, and reminded me of Javonte Williams, who I love, man, but just a lot of bad memories with how he hurt himself and just never came back. Yeah, I mean, Hampton's another pick where it's just kind of hard to nitpick. There was still another guard on the board there in Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State. Maybe Harbaugh didn't want to pick him because he was Ohio State. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, another really good pick.
Yeah, that's another thing with you mentioned his durability. He didn't miss a game in college.
Yeah,
played every single from his sophomore year on. Played every single game.
Yeah, I remember last year his name coming up a lot, and I was excited. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be a good player. We'll see him next year." And then this year, that's when like Genty came out of nowhere. I'm just like, "Oh shoot," maybe like it's gonna be for sure between them two. And obviously, like Boise State was just handing the ball to this Genty so much.
Why wouldn't you at that point?
Yeah, but Hampton, he was up there, man. Like you give this full. Like you get him like 1-on-1 with the safety, like you throw it to him, he's gonna fucking run over that safety, So it's a good pick. I mean, for me, I was just shocked. Like I would say the same thing with the Broncos. I thought you guys were gonna go, tight end or receiver or something because Golden was still there, even for you guys. But
I said last week I didn't feel like Golden was better than who's the receiver that went first? T Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys said
He
that
went
you
way
guys
early.
kind of had him over T Mac, but I felt like T Mac was a better option. I felt like Golden was more of a second round pick. Maybe if the board would have fell that way, maybe, but
I mean, yeah, but the only thing for me about McMillan is just that he's not a really good route runner. He's more of the guy just run down and throw him those 50-50 balls because he's so tall, he would just get out there and get them. But Golden was more of a, he was good on running the routes, good speed, and good hands. But, in the end of the day, like, you guys did get a pretty, I mean, personally, I think all three teams got a really good pick
Yeah.
in the first rounds. I mean, that's why when
Agreed.
I was doing my research, the average was an A for all of us.
Yeah, those
For
are
the
draft
first
grades
round
that come
picks.
out. I think, yeah, a lot of the analysts like what the Broncos and Chargers and Raiders did. And I have to say, I do too.
yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it wasn't a draft with a bunch of top end talent, but there
Right.
was a lot of good mid talent. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like everybody's stacked up on all those mid guys.
Yeah, but I mean, with the history with the Raiders, fuck, I'm just glad we didn't fucking reach on somebody else
Mm-hmm.
like a Jalen Monroe.
Well, that's what happens when you finally have a competent coach.
Not just a coach, a good GM too. I'm excited. I mean, this GM, like, for his first time being one and going, like, and pairing him up with a good coach like that, they did pretty good. Even though they didn't really try to keep it a secret about trying to get this running back. But in the end, like I said, it was good. I mean, even though I was like across the country, I was excited at 1 a.m.
You weren't across the country; you were out of the country, fool. You were on
Yeah.
the other side.
Oh, sorry,
Other
across the
side.
world. Sorry, I didn't mean across the country, across the world.
Yeah, dude, you were way over there. So yeah, I mean, the first round went pretty well for all three teams.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I'm picking at things, it's just nitpicking.
Yeah, you can nitpick a couple of things, but in the end, we all got some good players that are gonna hopefully stick with the team for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Shoot, even longer. If you're picking a guy in the first round, you're hoping he stays around
Yeah,
at least
but
your rookie contract. That includes the 5th year option plus another contract, 3 years, 4 years. So
yeah,
you're
I mean, it
picking
just
somebody
depends
for the
on
next
how
8 years, 9 years.
it's gonna depend how it goes with the running backs. How they go where that second contract. It's hard for them to get it, but we'll see how the team goes.
Yeah, we'll see if the Raiders actually keep Genty around. They let Josh Jacobs go, and that's why they had to
Yeah.
go and get Genty. I mean, they could have
Paid him.
Yeah.
I mean, that honestly, um, there was an interview with that one of the Raiders, one of the Raiders news person. I forgot what his name was. He ended up interviewing him and was asking him all these questions. And the one who actually really messed it up with us was Dave Ziegler and McDaniels. They didn't want to resign him, and as soon as they were like, you know what, like as soon as like he knew like they didn't want to like resign him, he didn't even like.
But that wasn't that last year, last offseason. So
Yeah,
Telesco and
Telesco tried to reach out to him, but he wasn't even answering his phone. He was like, "No, I'm gone."
Yeah, I mean, believing that Josh McDaniels fucked something up, I totally believe that.
I just still wanted to throw out Tom Telesco's name, hoping that he fucked that up.
No, Tom Telesco was honestly like the only reason they let him go was because he was just attached to AP, so they just got rid of him as a whole and brought somebody in. So they brought a GM and a head coach to have around the same like contract year. So that like if once one of it expires, they can just either resign or just get rid of them at the same time.
Next year, then?
But I don't think so. The way it's going on right now, I highly doubt it.
Okay, so rest of the draft. How we feel. Before we get into that segment, remind anybody that's actually still listening or watching on YouTube, subscribe and like. Really helps us out. Leave a comment, please. Would really help us out. We're gonna get.
If you guys want to like, if you guys think that none of these 3 picks were good, just go ahead and comment.
Yeah, let us know. I got roasted on our short that we posted about my hot take.
Yeah.
For the draft last week. Obviously, didn't add context to that short, saying that I had no expectation of it actually working out. So people watching that were probably like, "What the hell is this guy thinking?" But
Dude, you were wheeling and dealing there for that pick. You were making moves. You were saying this is gonna happen,
hey,
that's
man,
gonna happen.
I know George Patient. He makes his moves, man. He made his moves this draft. It just wasn't in the first round.
I mean, you almost got it right. You just got the wrong team.
Hey, you know I got corner right,
Yeah.
so was one of the very few people that called the Broncos taking corner in the first round. But let's cover the rest of the draft. Won't spend too much time here, but some things that you liked, some things that you stood out. Rounds 2 through 7.
For the Chargers, I'll go ahead and start it off.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they went in the second round with another offensive weapon with Trey Harris,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I mean, I would say he's the heir apparent to Mike Williams, but he might even, take a spot or at least take a lot of snaps from him this year. They both play the X position, but I mean, I feel like Trey Harris has got a little bit more speed, a little bit more toughness. The yards after the catch. Mike Williams is going to go up, and it's not 50-50 balls for Mike Williams. It's more like 70-30. I mean, he's getting a little older, maybe 60-40 at this point. And he does get hurt, because he does just has no regard for his body when he goes up and gets the ball. He just lands wherever he's going to land and just tries to hold on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Trey Harris is just going to be as good, if not even better, than Mike Williams with time being. Maybe not, like I said, not right away, but I feel like by the end of the year, if they're not splitting snaps, then Trey Harris is probably taking over a lot of the snaps.
Oh, well, high bar. Maybe he could clear another bar that Mike Williams set and join the team 3 times and get yelled at by Aaron Rodgers twice.
He joined the team 2 times.
That's what I'm saying. He's going over that bar. The Chargers just drafted wide receivers like crazy. They got Lambert Smith as well. That makes 7 wide receivers over the last 3 years.
Yep.
So I'm thinking maybe they're just hoping they could find one. I mean, Ladd McConkey hit last year.
But I think
they threw 2 more darts this year. We'll see.
I think that speaks more to the lack of confidence they have in Quentin Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the other 6 wide receivers that they've drafted over the last
years.
last
year was 2 7th rounders. I mean, you get 2 7th rounders. You
still count, bro.
Take a Rice, the son of another famous Rice, in the 7th round just to see if you throw a dart at the dartboard, see if it lands.
Taking a flyer. The Broncos took a really good flyer. We'll get into later.
Yeah, and same thing. The other one was another 7th rounder. Didn't even make the team last year. Got cut prior to the season starting. But these 2 picks in the second, and I feel like the 5th. I think it was the 5th. Lambert Smith.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a burner. So they got different guys with different skill sets.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at your guys' draft class, I was like, okay, I see it. Because like I said, in the first round, I think I was going to go like more weapon-wise as a receiver and everything. And Trey Harris is a good receiver, but I did hear that his route running needs to get a little bit better, but he's also like a McMillan where, you just get to your spot, we're going to throw the ball up, and he has the ability to get up there and get it.
But he has good hands. He's not like a body catcher. He doesn't wait for it to come to him. He goes and gets that ball. And like I said, his yards after the catch is what separates him from just like a regular 50-50 ball guy.
Yeah, and Lambert Smith, he reminds me a lot of like, like a speed person. It's just someone you get down who's gonna stretch out the field for you guys. That's gonna just throw it to the end zone and see if this one can go over there and catch it. So, but I still think you guys should have went tight end, which you guys did pick up at tight end, but he's more of another blocking type.
Actually, no, he's the opposite of a blocking type. He's
really?
All receiving. What's his name? Godsend?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Godsend. He all receiver. No inline blocking whatsoever. And I feel like he's a good project. He might get some snaps this year, but I feel like in year 2, his snaps count will go way up. Because this year they still got Conklin, who they signed before the draft. So he's got sure hands, doesn't hardly ever drop the ball, which is something that the Chargers really need. They got guys that drop the ball. I think they had like 4 drop passes in that playoff game. Two of them landed in the defensive player's hands.
Just trying to take the blame off of Herbert.
Sorry, he hit them in the hands. The guys couldn't catch the ball. But yeah, Watson, yeah, he's not really much of a blocker. He's more of a receiving tight end. And he's a big guy. He was a former receiver.
6'5", 243.
Yeah, he's a former receiver. He really only played tight end, I want to say, for like a year and a half.
Mm.
So he's still learning to play the position. And being a former receiver, that's why I say he's not really much of a blocker.
Yeah, it's just another guy for the Broncos to shut down in the middle of the defense. So, gas in if you're listening.
If you're listening, ball them up.
You ain't getting shit against the Broncos.
If they can reach him.
6'5" is pretty damn tall, man. I definitely have to say that. But that kind of brings me into the Broncos draft. And they took a couple flyers there at the end. One of them is on a tight end in the 7th round. And that is Caleb Lohner. He's another tall guy. He's actually 6'7". Played basketball for Baylor.
I saw that. I
Six,
was going to make a point
Mhm.
about that. I'm like, damn, you guys trying to take a page out of the Chargers playbook and get a basketball player.
It's worked out
make it
before,
work.
man. Jimmy Graham was the same way, and guess who he played for? So, taking a flyer on the guy in the 7th round, that who knows, man? Huge upside, obviously.
Only 1 year of college football.
1 year college football,
Very limited.
52 snaps,
Very, very limited.
4 catches. You want to guess how many?
4 TDs. I saw that.
Damn, I was gonna.
I saw that. You know,
Yeah.
you can't be
100% touchdown
I mean, when you're in
catch rate.
6'7", like and you're in the red zone, who are you gonna go for? The fucking
Yeah.
tallest person in that whole
Yeah.
freaking squad.
And now he's got Sean Payton drawing up plays for him in the end zone. So, that's a really fun one. If he could really,
He
work
might
out.
not want to go up and get those balls once Derwin James lays that wood on him. That's good. A basketball player getting hit. Just
I don't know if I want to go up and grab balls if I get wood laid on me either, but I think he'll do just fine, man. Watching his tape again, there wasn't much tape to watch, but he looks like a lot of fun. Played basketball at Utah too, so he was a 2-sport athlete. Broncos just drafting athletes. They also took a punter in the 6th round.
I saw that.
Another one where it's just like, all right, man, we're having fun here at the end of the draft.
An Australian
former rugby player. So
I heard he's got a boot.
he's got a boot, and if you play rugby, you're not only just kicking the ball too, you're throwing the ball a little bit. So
speaking of rugby, Chargers picked up a guy on the international. You can pick up guys prior to the draft and put them on the international exempt list. We got a rugby player from Australia, New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
New Zealand. I think he was projecting as a linebacker. So what's that guy's name from Baltimore? I want to say same thing. He came in through the international. What's his name? I think he's a D tackle, and I guess he's praising this guy from the Chargers. Like he's saying that this is the top rugby player out of New Zealand. He played for the country's team, and he's saying if he learns how to play the game, it's endless for him. He can get everything because of his strength, his smarts. So it's a long shot, but it's happened before. So.
Well, long shots are fun.
Yeah.
Cross shot. If I'm talking rugby and players like that, I'm just gonna stick with Australian players because of Bluey. Shout out Bluey. But yeah, man, Crawshaw. He's got a boot. The Broncos needed a punter. They lost theirs, Dixon, this offseason. So fills another hole. That's a fun one. And then we haven't talked about RJ Harvey yet. I want to get into him. Some might say the poor man's Ashton Genty. They're about the same size, 5'8". Same weight-ish around there, about 205. I think Genty's like 208 or something. So same build. But Harvey actually has a higher explosive play rate. So he's going to be breaking off some big plays. Peyton thinks he could come out of the backfield and catch some balls too. So,
well, I mean, he produced throughout his whole college career, man.
On a pretty bad team, and he was the only weapon there. And
I think he averaged over I think he was like at 6.5
6.8. Yeah, 6.8 a carry, I believe.
last year, but his whole college
Mhm.
career, I think it was 6.5. So he was pretty consistent about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be hard to replicate in the NFL, even behind the line like the Broncos.
True. Like I
uh,
said, same thing that I said with Gentry. Like the smaller running back, sometimes it takes a little bit. Or
But like you could use that to your advantage, man. I mean, the offensive line knows where you're going, defensive line doesn't, and they have to
True.
find you.
True.
At 5'8", God, that's short.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if they find him, it's not like he's gonna be able to get away from them as easy.
Why not? He's hella fast,
Yeah,
way
he's pretty
faster
quick.
than
But
big
he's
dudes.
fast. But if you got a 300-pounder on you, weighing down on you, it's not gonna be as easy as if
They got to catch him first, man.
Yeah.
They got to catch him first. So yeah, I really like the Broncos draft all the way through. And I will say this to Bronco Country, that there is a lot of complaints on Reddit and Twitter, and I mean this with all sincerity. Shut the hell up. Sean Payton knows what he's doing. George Payton knows what he's doing. A lot more.
Yeah, I was gonna bring something up right now too.
A lot more than people watching at home or people with huge YouTube channels like the Third and Thirsty podcast. So shut the hell up. We're gonna be just fine. They drafted players that they know is gonna fit. In Peyton, we trust. Peyton.
Yeah, so when I was doing my research before this morning, I did see that people were saying that not just the running back, but also you guys' receiver. What's his name again?
I saw that too. That they felt like both of them were a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, they were more of a reach, but
Say that word, reach.
I mean, I wouldn't say
Because they had other, not just them, but other analysts and draft experts had them
Analysts don't mean shit.
ranked lower.
Yeah, so they
than
were
other-
like-
than other
Does not
receivers and
matter.
other ones.
So-
If George Payton, Sean Payton felt that they might go and they really wanted that pick, then you take them. You don't play games. You don't
Well, that's what I
follow
was
the
trying.
NFL train.
That's what I was trying to say. I was like, honestly, I
Edgar
did see
could have been saying
that
that the last 10 years too.
about what.
About if you feel a certain way about a player, you take him.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell.
I mean,
Sorry, Jamarcus Russell. You keep on getting all these fucking shots thrown at you.
motherfucker tried to steal from a high school. That fool deserves it.
Yeah. If you're listening, Jamarcus Russell,
You're a trash.
Come back to the Raiders. They need you.
Oh yeah, we do. But RJ Harvey, yeah, they say that he was he was drafted way ahead of when he should have been. So was Pat Bryant. But like you said, in Peyton, you guys trust. So I'm not even gonna question that because Pat Bryant, that was a very physical receiver. He's gonna be a good blocker for you guys when you guys trying to run the ball, and when he's going up there for the receiving the ball, like I said, he's very physical.
He's
So
got really good hands.
so whatever corner's going to be covering him, he's going to have his hands full.
I heard the same thing. He does all the dirty work. He likes getting in there for blocking. I was actually looking at him for the Chargers if they didn't go with a receiver earlier.
Mhm.
I felt like he would have been a good mid-round pick for the Chargers just because, like I said, he does all the dirty work. He loves to block his ass off, and that's what Harbaugh likes to do with his running or with his receivers is block, because we need you guys to block. Everybody blocks.
Yeah, and the Broncos lost little Jordan Humphrey again. Shout out, dope name. This offseason, he took a better offer with the Giants. So shout out, you get your money. Your team's
Please.
gonna suck. So Broncos need a replacement there, and Pat Bryant is definitely that guy. So that's another good pick. Shall we move on to the Raiders?
Oh yeah, so
A lot of picks.
we got
A
a
ton,
ton of picks.
picks.
Would you guys end up with 11?
11.
11 picks,
Wow.
and it's the first time we've got
Indeed.
11 picks since honestly I forgot what year it was, but like I said before, I was across the world, so I really wasn't following that much on the draft. But as soon as I did my research, a lot of these guys really stood out to me. Our second round pick, Jack Besh.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to call him, you know what,
Yeah,
every
that's
single
fine.
time.
Oh, you trust me? After he's gonna be burning your guys' corner, that's exactly what you're gonna be saying.
Be careful with those TCU receivers.
Just your receiver. This guy, he's only had one drop out of his whole last year. Him and Jacoby. I just saw the stat right now on my phone. They put it up saying that Jacoby Myers and him combined last year only had one drop. Um, he's a really good route runner. Really good hands. Uh, he has a really sad story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
You'll
whoever
see
hasn't
that.
heard about it,
Mhm.
his brother was killed in that um, New Orleans. They call it a terrorist
Terrorist
attack.
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry for his loss, but
Yeah.
great player, good chip on his shoulder. So it's gonna be fun seeing him this next year. Darian Porter.
What do you think about that pick? I keep seeing a bunch of Raider fan accounts and even like national people talk about how much they love this pick. What do you
Yeah.
feel?
So I honestly like he's
6'3", 195.
But I
yeah
think
six.
he only played corner 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Is he
Yeah,
the one
because he
that's
was
a former
receiver.
He was
He's a
more of
former
and
receiver.
a special teams
Yeah.
guy.
So honestly, like I think he's good. Like honestly, he has the length, he has the arm length as well. He has longer arms than freaking that offensive tackle from freaking that the Patriots picked up.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, yeah, he's basically the size that freaking Pete Carroll loves as for a corner.
Right.
They compared him
Sherman.
to Sherman.
Yeah, but he's like I said,
The,
1 year production. That's kind of a bit of a reach for a 1 year production guy.
the only thing that I will say is his like he can't really like against the run. So like he's very light. But so they're saying that he needs to build up his weight and everything. So hopefully like that can work
But if he
out. But
does, that might slow him down. You know, that's why it's like a 1 year of production. You don't get the full story from that. You could say like, all right, he had 5 picks last year. Well, only had 3 picks last year, but still, he did good
Yeah.
against receivers all last year in college, but it was only still 1 year. You
yeah,
know.
but I mean he does know the routes, he does know everything. So I mean he's just
But you pointed out the main thing.
yeah.
Is if he's light, they're not gonna throw it his way. They're just gonna run it his way.
Yeah, but I mean like I said, like even if he gets heavy and he gets like he's already running a 4.3, so I mean if he gets even like heavier, he's probably gonna still run the 4.5, 4.6. Which I'm still gonna I'm sure like he'll still run the same speed, but as a corner, like me personally right now, he's very like he has a high ceiling.
I
Like
like the player.
he can be a good player, but
Yeah.
the only thing is for me is just that covering the run. Like we'll see how it goes.
I like the
but,
player. Just I feel like it was a little bit of a reach.
Yeah.
Maybe a 4th or 5th round would have been a little safer.
I don't think it was a reach. Personally, I think it was just he's honestly gonna just become a good player. I mean, if anything, he's just gonna just needs a good coach, which Pete Carroll has. You know, he's got a lot of corners. He's got the best of a lot of corners. He's also been compared to Tyreen Woodley, another corner that Pete Carroll had.
I mean, just the size, but like I said, the skill set isn't what they had. He's more of just like a read and react. He plays better against the zone because he's reading the quarterback because he knows what quarterbacks are going to do when they're about to throw the ball. But once they get him into man coverage, like I feel like he's going to get a little bit exploited once
he was
comes
he was
by
graded high
running
on
backs.
on coverage, so we'll see how that goes. But I still think he was basically. I still think he's one of he's a player that we're like people are gonna keep an eye on, and I think he's gonna succeed where he's at.
So I feel like Darren Porter was a little bit of reach still. Like I said, I feel like you guys had what 3 third round picks.
Yep.
I feel like
Yeah.
you still would have been there. Maybe the second for sure. Maybe even the third round pick that you guys had. So not saying that it's a bad pick, but there might have been better value at that point.
I mean, I won't say that you're wrong, but to be honest, like from what I've been looking at and doing the research that I have, a lot of people have him being one of the top, one of the two that we actually stole from this year's draft, and that's because
I was saying the same thing.
people see that because he has the experience as a receiver. He knows like the route trees. He knows like all the looks and everything. But the only downside is that he's pretty small as in weight. So hopefully, like I said, he can build up in weight, and because I know he's not scared of to hit the running back, but he is a little guy.
It's fast.
Yeah,
And
fast.
very
Real
fast.
fast.
He's not little, but he's thin.
Yeah, thin.
He's
Thin
thin
wise.
because he's a
Not,
big receiver. He's
yeah,
6'3",
no,
but
not
only
yeah. I mean,
195.
like heavy wise, like
Yeah.
hitting somebody. Like, come on now, if you fucking tries to hit him right in
I
Hampton,
was about
like,
to say, imagine Martin Hampton
yeah,
coming at him, and I don't think he's gonna want to take that
like
hit.
I mean, he'll keep up on the speed, but if this one runs him over, he's done.
Yeah,
Um,
he'll,
another.
he'll definitely have some a decision to make on his future there.
Oh, he's
when
definitely
he
gonna.
sees a Martin Hampton coming
He's
at
definitely
him.
gonna need that
Gonna
safety to
make a
come help
business
him.
decision.
Yep.
But another player that I heard that we kind of stole from this was Charles Grant. He's a tackle from a small school. I forgot the name of that school.
William and
Mary.
Mary.
Okay, yeah. So he he was ranked pretty high for a lot of people, and I'm excited for him. Like, hopefully he gets the chance to either be that right tackle for us. Caleb Rogers, I'm pretty sure he's just going to be just an interior lineman. He's probably going to be trying to battle for a position.
I don't know. They're about the same size.
And I was actually they are 6'5", 312 for Caleb
Exactly
Rogers,
both.
6'5", 311 for Charles
But
Grant.
the
Yeah,
thing is
they're
that
But
the
also
same
the funny
size,
thing
man.
is they look exactly the same except they have different haircuts. So they might have just drafted the same guy and didn't realize it. So that would be a very Raider move if
They
drafting
only
the
had
same
they
person.
only had their pictures up there.
Yeah. Drafting the same
That guy.
the same exact guy back to back in the third round and not realize
Wow.
that it was one dude.
No,
Yeah, but I
Charles
did
Grant,
see that Caleb Rogers is projected more as a guard. But I'm saying how though? Like they're both the same size.
it's not really the size. Though Charles Grant has really good like hands. Like,
yeah,
when
but,
it comes
but
onto the end.
he went to a smaller school. Rogers went to a little bit bigger school, Texas Tech. So they're Power 4 conference, playing better competition. So I would feel like out of those two guys, you would want to keep the guy that played against better competition
on the
on the
outside,
outside.
but I mean, I think well, Pete Carroll did say before the draft that he's okay with the players that we have in our offensive line. So worst case scenario, he's probably okay with DJ Glaze being our right tackle.
DJ Glaze.
Glaze
but worst case scenario, like I said, Charles Grant can honestly, like, if he ends up, showing out, he can probably take TJ Glaze's spot, and DJ Glaze moves into guard because he's also was projected to be a guard as well. But
Yeah, sounds like they're just kind of approaching the line as like a competition of like who emerges where, and
yeah,
I hate to say it after this draft, but it does start to look like the Raiders, they're not going to be quite in competition for the division this year because I think the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs are just a step ahead. But I don't know if the Raiders are going to be the joke that they were last year.
No,
They got a competent head coach. They have some people in the offense or front office that know what they're doing.
and an influx of young talent right away. Year one,
I feel
11
like
picks,
I honestly
that's
feel
a
like
lot.
after this, like if I get that question again, if I think the Raiders are gonna go over or under on that, the wins,
What was
6.5.
it? 6.
I think they have a chance to go at least 8-9 wins this year.
That's gonna be tough
pushing
in this
bro.
division.
I was gonna say over, but like
Nah.
7.
Nah, not even close.
Yeah.
I think especially with the other receiver that we picked up, Thornton,
Yeah.
Jr. He got that speed. He's the size and everything.
Yeah, but you're hoping for a starter out of a fourth rounder. Out of a fourth rounder, you're hoping that
Dude,
he
fourth
develops. He
rounder.
develops.
We had the best nickel cornerback in the fourth round, and Nate Hobbs.
Well, you could definitely hit a 4th round pick.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen every year.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
I mean,
and
it doesn't.
And it might have been because it was needed for him to start.
But he was still ranked the best nickel corner in the NFL.
Yeah, totally. We could say you could.
But
you
the
could
thing
hit
is-
a great pick, but
Even last year,
I don't know. Last year
he was hurt most of the season.
Last year, actually, Derwin James was an All-Pro at nickel.
Yeah, but he was hurt most of the season. So I mean, how can we actually know that?
That's also
But when he was a rookie, he was actually considered one of the best fucking the nickel corners.
That's when
Derwin James was probably hurt.
Oh, he was playing more safety at that point.
But anyways, back to Dante Thornworth, yeah, he has the speed, he has the length, and they were comparing him to pretty good receivers.
All those comparisons, they're always just trying to find somebody that you're gonna want to, like I said, compare him to.
Yeah,
You wanna find
similar skill sets.
Yeah, but the thing is like it gives you a chance to be able to realize how they play at least.
right.
You know, it's not really like I'm not saying because he's compared to Martavius Bryant, Randy Moss, and all. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Randy Moss.
That would be pretty wild.
You know, so at
Exactly.
the end of the
So
day, it's kind of like he's a speedster and he's over like you throw it over and he gets up there and gets the ball over receivers. He might be able to do it, he might not,
yeah,
but you know, you just
exactly.
never
Why
know.
not?
Yeah, but I mean, compared to your guys' corners, I mean, we'll see.
And we got 2 corners last year in the 5th round that ended up being starters and played pretty well.
I mean,
And those were 5th round picks that they weren't even
not
expected to
against only
start.
one receiver that you guys had to cover.
Well, I'm just saying on against every team, these guys didn't start until the last like half of the season. Cam Hart and Tarheeb Steele, they both started like well into the second half the season. I didn't expect anything out of them except for depth, um, maybe some special teams play, but one of their corners went down, and then Cam Hart started to play. He played decent, was a hard hitter, and then their their slot nickel corner was just giving up a perfect passer rating every game. So they said like, well, let's throw this 5th rounder in there and see what he can do. Raheem Steele just ended up being their best corner of the season as a 5th round rookie. He had I think he had like a 70 passer rating against him when targeted. He didn't let up hardly any catches out of the slot. That's his position is in the slot, but he can play the outside as well. So that's why they weren't afraid to let Christian Fulton go and sign with the freaking Chiefs. Hopefully, the Chargers know him well enough to attack him now. But yeah, that's why they weren't pressing for a need at cornerback this year for the draft. It would have been nice. I felt like they should have gone with cornerback, but they did just later on in the draft.
Pretty. Go ahead.
Sorry. But the one player that I was actually really excited that we picked up is Tommy Mellon, or I forgot. I don't know what I put as his.
Mellott.
Yeah, Mellott. He's a quarterback, but we picked him up as a receiver. So I'm excited to see what Chip Kelly does for him. He's pretty quick, has a really good arm, and he can catch the ball. He's like an all around. So we'll see how he ends up doing.
Montana State. Yeah, well, take a Flyers at the end of the draft doesn't hurt.
Definitely.
Especially when you get fucking 3 6-round picks. Good lord.
The Chargers had 4 at the beginning, but traded away 2 to move up in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
But the Raiders needed that. They needed an influx of talent, of players that were chosen by this new regime.
Yep, I think they got off to a pretty good start, man. So now that the draft's over, free agency's over, how are we feeling about our teams? We feel like we're taking a step towards knocking off the Chiefs, or what?
I mean, the Chiefs had a decent draft, I'm not going to lie. They had some pretty decent players come in, which are going to help almost right away. But at the end of the day, I feel like all 3 of our teams got better.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot better than what we expected, especially I feel like Edgar was the only one that expected that 1st-round draft pick to come to fruition. Ours were way off.
Mm-hmm.
Ours are way off, and at the end of the day, the coaches are there every day, 24/7. Basically, they know what's best for their team. They don't give a fuck what we have to say here on the Third and Thirsty podcast. Even if they did, that'd be great, but they don't.
Yeah, Sean Payton, if you're listening.
But yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, we all got better, and I don't know if the Chiefs got as better as we did.
I believe the Chiefs got a little bit better, but
no, yeah, definitely.
I still think that they're not going to win the division. I still think that we're going to all three teams have a chance to at least go 1-1 versus them. I mean, if anything, you guys might be able to sweep them. I have a feeling that Raiders can at least beat them once. You know,
Raiders usually playing pretty tough.
Yeah, so I mean, but you know, if health wise and everything, if they stay healthy, I definitely do believe the Raiders have a chance to beat them. I can see the Broncos sweeping them.
What about winning the division?
Have
you gotten yourself there yet?
No.
Okay,
Maybe.
good.
I was like, okay, don't put yourself there.
I'll be laughing my ass off if I fucking do. If that ever happens, and oh man, that podcast, I'm not gonna shut the fuck up.
If that ever happens, I think the Third and Thirsty podcast might be over by then.
Yeah, we're not showing
They're
up.
gonna
that
quit.
day.
And then, like, if that ever happens,
You could
they're
do a
gonna-
solo podcast
The
that
best
day,
part
dude.
about this podcast is talking shit about the Raiders.
That's great. They're gonna end up like retiring. It's like, nope, I give up on football. He's gonna pull a Junior and just give up on sports. Shout out Junior.
You can do a podcast with Junior about who knows what.
Yeah.
Talking shit about the Broncos and the fucking Chargers.
Well,
just
if they
being
win the
like,
division, then
y'all just quitting?
By all means,
No,
man,
yeah.
go for it. But yeah, I'm with you guys, man. I feel like all three teams had a really good draft. I think the glory days of the AFC West are coming, man. The last couple of years, last fucking 8 years, God, even going back further, because there hasn't been many years where the Broncos and the Raiders have been good. I can't even remember the last time where a Broncos-Raiders game actually meant something for both teams.
I feel like
It's been a long time. I think those days were really coming. Broncos,
the-
Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, those divisional games are really going
I
to be
mean, the
important.
best one for me was when the Chargers and Raiders were playing for that playoff spot.
Right,
yeah.
right.
And
Broncos,
That was the
again,
last time.
Yeah.
The one time and last time in the last like 25 years
Yeah.
that you guys made the playoffs.
Broncos were
I
not
mean,
a part
at
of
least
that
we
at
still
all.
won, so it doesn't matter to me.
It's okay.
And y'all still choked in that game too.
Yeah, I'm honest. If I had to take the field against the Chiefs and win in the FC West next year, I'm taking the field. I feel like it'll be the Broncos or the Chargers.
Yeah, and it's not just the hate on the Chiefs, which we all have.
Definitely.
It's just the reality that last year they got super lucky. There was a couple games that
The refs were
Definitely-
helping. I'm just gonna say that shit. I
but
don't give
definitely
a
went
fuck.
their way. You know,
I mean,
luck
the
was
refs were
definitely on
helping
their
for
side.
sure.
Yeah, that's something we haven't got into on the pod very much. But yeah, I've talked many times about how I don't know if the NFL's rigged for the Chiefs, but those referees on the field definitely let their
We're favoriting
bias
them.
come into
Yeah.
play towards the end of the games.
we haven't talked about it much on the pod
Chiefs.
because the season hasn't started yet. Once the season starts,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, when the
it's gonna
Chiefs
be
are
there.
10-0 and they've got the shittiest team and
Yeah.
they're winning games at the end of the game and balls are bouncing their way and they're getting those pass interference calls that they get towards the end of the game
or not getting
called against them.
Yep.
Oh, those rough.
Then we could talk about that a little bit more. Before we get going, guys, you guys have anything to say about Bill Belichick and his weird interview with his girlfriend?
Leave her at
Are we
home.
allowed to talk about this, or should we ask his 24-year-old girlfriend if we're allowed to talk about this?
Is this okay? Cool? All right. Yeah, we're
All
good.
right, we're good. We're
He
good.
said no one's watching this shit anyways. This isn't Good Morning America. Go ahead.
No, yeah. It was super awkward. I mean, shout out Bill Belichick. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Good for you. Good for you.
Can't blame the guy for that.
Yeah, not at all.
He's not
Clearly,
the only guy in the
Honestly,
NFL or out of the NFL.
after that
does
is
like
a clear red fucking flag, bro. Move the fuck on and
yeah,
get
I don't
yourself
think
another
he's
24.
in it for like the long run. He's just in it to
Don't matter.
until
what-
she's ready to be done with it.
I'll just go for the next 24-year-old. Fuck that.
There
he
are
would
a
have
lot
his,
of options.
He
Shut
would-
up
he
and
would-
just learn your spot.
he would have his pick. But that's the thing. Seeing Bill Belichick in that position is so weird.
Exactly. I'm like,
The
dude.
ultimate
like,
no nonsense, I'm in control guy is just taking the back seat to his weird 24-year-old girlfriend. So weird to see. Just a couple years after he retired from being the greatest NFL coach of all time, and now he still has a gig. He's gonna go and coach North Carolina. Who knows how that's gonna look? That's gonna be weird.
Imagine him with the Marion Hampkin on the team.
He doesn't have them.
Exactly. But imagine if he was on the team, that would have been a good ass team. That I feel like they would have, with the defense he likes to run and the way he orchestrates that defense. I feel like they would have been a team to be dealt with in the college football playoff.
Who knows? They might have a 25-year-old ex Miss America, whatever she was, playing running back. If she asks for it, he'll probably give it to her. It's so weird to see him in that position. I just can't get over it. Every time I see it, it's insane to see him.
You almost sound
Let
like
her speak
you
for
almost
him.
sound like you're jealous.
No. That's not it at all.
Jealousy is far from it.
Yeah. No,
bro.
definitely not. But just seeing someone who's always been in control his entire life,
Yeah, not
reach this
dealing with that type of
age,
crap.
and
Come
then
on,
all of a
man.
sudden just be like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care. It's weird. But hey, man, have your fun, I guess.
Yeah.
True,
Yeah.
true that.
We had a good time today. Again, anyone that's listening, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, if you're watching, like button, subscribe button really helps us out. Let's try to gain some traction on this thing. And we'll see you guys again next week. Ball's rolling on the off season now, so there'll be a lot more things to talk about. We'll see you then. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.